good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time for Morning Boost. Just now I was sitting here as we were getting ready to roll the tape, and I was just thinking about the goodness of the Lord. And the Lord said, today I want you to share with the people that I am their breakthrough. He wants you to know that He is your breakthrough today. Whatever you're experiencing, if it's financial, whatever it is, He wants you to look to Him as the source of your total supply. He's the one and the only one that can get you out of the trouble that you're in, the situation that you're in. So today I'll be talking about breakthrough for a humongous debt. In the Bible, in 2 Kings chapter 4 and verse 1 through 7, there was a widow who had two sons, and the creditors were getting ready to come and take her sons from her because she didn't have money to pay her debt. And do you know what she did? She went to Elijah and told Elijah all the things that she was going through. And Elijah said, so tell me, what can I do for you? What do you have in your house? She says, I only have a little jar of oil. That's all I have. He said, what I want you to do is I want you and your sons to go out and borrow jars and jugs and everything you can get your hands on, because I want you to bring it back to your house. And don't just borrow a few. I want you to borrow a whole lot of them. So she went out, her sons went out, and they borrowed jars and jugs, and they brought them back into the house. And then she went back to Elijah and said, now what do I do? He told her, he said, I want you to start pouring that oil in those jars and jugs. I want you to keep pouring. You're going to shut the door, take your sons inside the house, shut the door, and I want you to pour that oil in each jar. And they began to pour and pour and pour, and they kept pouring. And then at last she said, okay, sons, let's pour the next jar. And he said, well, we're out. We don't have any more. So at that moment, the oil ceased. There was no more oil to be poured because there were no more jars to put any oil in. And so she went back to Elijah and said, okay, so now what I do? He said, take all those jars of oil, sell them, and I want you and your sons to pay that debt, and then pay that humongous debt. And then I want you to come back and I want you to live on the rest. Isn't that an amazing story? There's a lot of things that we found out in this story. If you're looking for a breakthrough today from the Lord, I'm going to tell you some things that you can just implement into your life to start getting that breakthrough. The first thing is you got to go to the source. Jesus wants you to come to Him and pray to Him. Tell Him what you need. Tell Him what you want. Go ahead and ask Him for the things that you need to be taken care of. And then the second thing is, what did He tell you to do? You sit and you listen to see exactly what the Lord wants you to do about the situation. In her case, of course, she went and gathered all the vessels, and she came back and she shut the door. So that's the third thing. You want to shut the door behind you, because you're shutting out unbelief. You're shutting out all those naysayers and all those people that'll tell you it won't work. It's no good. I don't know why you're doing that. It didn't work for my grandma. It didn't work for my granddaddy. It didn't work for my aunt. So it's not going to work for you. He wants you to shut the door on unbelief. And here's the fourth thing, is go back and say, okay, I've done specifically what you asked me to do, and I shut the door on unbelief. Now, what's the next step? And God is always ready to tell you what the next step is. I want to say to you, your breakthrough may not be big to somebody else, but it can be big to you. My husband and I experienced a situation where our car broke down on us. We didn't have another car to drive at the time because our truck was acting up as well. But we wondered how much this was going to cost us. Well, the dealership said it was going to cost $1,000 to get the car fixed. And we just put our hands together and we prayed and we asked the Father to help us with the situation. Now, $1,000 may not be much to you, but if you don't have $1,000, it's a lot of money. If you don't have $50 and you need $50, $50 is a lot of money. So I'm just saying, for us, it was a humongous debt because we didn't have the money to pay that. But we went to church the next day. And when we got ready to leave church, somebody handed us a check that would cover that bill. They handed us an $800 check. The dealership gave us 20% off on our car. And so we had enough money to pay that debt. I'm telling you that God is a provider. He wants to be your source for a breakthrough. He wants to be your line of defense for anything that you need. So I'm telling you, go to him first. Ask him tell him what you need and ask him for his help. Well, you know what? I'm out of time right now, but I wanted to share that with you. The Lord is your breakthrough. Don't be concerned about things, but just walk in faith, believing that he's going to give you direction and he's going to meet every need that you need, according to Philippians 4:19. Thank you so much for watching. And let me say to you today, keep shining, folks. Keep shining.